St. Louis, Mound City. We are going to have a great day today
on 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
It's the Chris and Amy Show, the show you can fit in your pocket.
Actually, you can.
With the Odyssey app.
With the Odyssey app.
That's right.
Take it with you wherever you go. Take KMOX with you wherever you go. If you want to listen to Cardinals baseball later on, well, actually not today. They're off today. Tomorrow, you can listen to it with the Odyssey app. How about that? They play in San Diego. 314-436-7900. Good morning to you. We are glad you are part of our day, and we're glad to be part of yours too. Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. You heard Tom Ackerman talking about the trade deadline. It is today at 5 o'clock. So there is programming throughout the day, keeping you updated on what else the Cardinals might do. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Our Twitter account is at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Yeah, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page. We were talking about him yesterday and the potential impropriety. Well, apparently it was enough for a grand jury indictment, which came down yesterday afternoon.
Indicted. And Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri sponsors a bill to ban stock trading among lawmakers. It received a lot of support from his Democrat colleagues, not so much from President Trump.
Oh, you got to be kidding with that.
Cardinals lost to the Marlins last night, 2-0. But the story is they have made trades already. The Cardinals have been active at this trade deadline. So Ryan Helsley traded. He is off to the New York Mets. Steven Matz has been traded. He is off to the Boston Red Sox. And I would imagine more to come. We know Eric Fedde has already been dealt. So that's things are rolling. And as you heard Ackerman say just a couple of minutes ago during that report, it apparently is true. The Cardinals continue to be open for business. Bob Nightingale, who covers baseball for USA Today, also saying that Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson have all received trade interest. That does not mean all of them or any of them will be dealt. It just means that they are on the table. Yeah. So if they are getting interest, the Cardinals have discussed them with other teams. Again, doesn't mean that any of them are going to go anywhere, but I think it gives you some insight as to where the Cardinals are right now, where their thought process is. We knew they were going to make deals. We knew they were going to make trades. But the question is, how far are they willing to go? And who are they willing to give up? And it kind of sounds like just about everybody's on the table.
Yeah.
So,
no, it does. From the Mets' point of view, I feel like it was a good trade. I know Helsley's been struggling, but maybe a change of scenery, maybe that bump, the new team bump kicks in for him.
Yeah, maybe.
And I mean, going to the New York Mets, and they gave up lower league prospects.
Yeah,
like they weren't giving up top prospects. They're giving maybe a couple of them make it to the big leagues. We don't know, one or two, but I do think that was a good move for the Mets. With Steven Matz, I asked you, I'm like, man, what time did the news come out about him being traded? And you said you thought it was
midnight, about midnight. The Cardinals sent out a press release at 11:45.
Okay. Did you?
I didn't see it because I was.
Well, that's right. If you're Steven Matz,
I was going night.
Do you go to bed?
Well, no, they let you know. Okay, so the way it would work is he would have known well before that because they made the trip to San Diego yesterday, and there's no way he got on the plane.
Yes,
he's not getting on the plane to go to San Diego and find out midair he's been dealt.
This is off season in the NHL, so it doesn't really translate, but it kind of rocked my world because our very own Joey Vitale. Yes. The radio analyst for the Blues, the St. Louis Blues. He was traded for Pavel Datsyuk. Yes, the Hall of Famer. Now, Pavel Datsyuk was ending the end of his career, but he was traded for Pavel Datsyuk, and Joey Vitale found out by reading the ticker on ESPN.
Oh, nobody called him.
And he saw his name.
That does happen,
and they
apparently,
say that happens
sometimes.
In the NHL. Now, you would know better than I do about Major League Baseball. Again, this is off-season NHL, but I've talked to a couple of guys who said they, on the trade, while the trades are being made or even during the trade deadline, they'll watch the ticker on ESPN and see if their
Yeah.
name pops up.
That's just really bad representation. That's not typical. It does happen sometimes where it falls through the cracks, but usually players are made aware before everybody else is made aware. Sometimes what will happen is agents or teams will try to contact the player and can't get a hold of them, and the teams will, they'll hold off as long as they can, but they can't hold off forever, right? So I mean, if a player becomes unreachable because they're on a beach somewhere, they're just not answering their phone, nothing you can do about that. You can't wait forever.
And just as a side note, if you missed yesterday's show, you can listen on the podcast. I had a great conversation. The whole show, but with John Rooney. And Ranj, you brought up, who was the guy that was traded mid-game?
Oh, there was a reliever
to the team they were playing?
Blue Jays and Rays. He was traded they had a split double header, and he was traded between games. And he just walked across the other.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's just
convenient.
It's super easy.
It doesn't get any more convenient than that.
I'm pretty sure that has happened before. And I want to say it's happened recently where in the middle of a game, a player got traded from one team to the other. If I'm not mistaken, that could be wrong. I have this vague memory of it. But yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago, that's what happened. There was a reliever who played for one team, got traded, and then, just was on the roster for the other team across the field later on that day.
Brian's watching on YouTube. He said, wasn't Joey Vitale finished playing and was traded for cap considerations? Yeah, it was primarily a paper trade because it was moving around salary money, the same with like Pavel Datsyuk and Joey Vitale. And it was literally a kind of a paper trade, but I think it's funny. It's funny when Joey tells it.
Yeah, because it feels like
oh my gosh,
an insult,
that's me.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think highly enough of me to tell me about it. They just wanted me to find out by watching TV.
Again, I apologize. This is hockey and not baseball, but Chris Draper, famously for the Detroit Red Wings, was traded for $1 to, I think it was to the Red Wings. Yeah, for $1. And he proved that trade wrong, but he said he took that personally.
Well, I would too, but you traded me for $1?
Yeah.
That's not good. That poor guy. So Steven Matz, you mentioned the 3 prospects the Cardinals got in return. Not really sure what they'll turn into. They are prospects. This Blaze Jordan fella, who is an corner infielder that the Cardinals got from the Boston Red Sox for Steven Matz. He could turn into something. I don't know. We'll see. But, he's already 22 years old. He's getting close to being 23. So maybe he could be useful at some point. I don't know. I guess it's true that any of these guys could end up being useful, but I don't know a ton about them. Haven't seen them play, but the Cardinals getting prospects in return. And I think we should know that or understand that depending on who gets dealt here, you're not going to get massive returns for a lot of these players.
John Hancock. You know John Hancock of
I've heard of
Hancock
him.
and Kelly, who, by the way, are going to be at Forest Park with us tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon alongside Jerry Kelly, heating and air conditioning and electrical. We're going to be broadcasting live from Forest Park. And because it's Friday, Hancock and Kelly will be on the premises. John Hancock texted in and said it was John Gant.
John Gant.
Yes.
I remember John Gant.
John Gant, that was
90s.
traded.
Yes. So here's what we're going to do. When we, throughout the course of the day, you should know that Ackerman will be with us through the morning. So if anything does break, he's going to have hourly updates. But if anything does break, we will have Tom Ackerman with us today. Let you know about the trade deadline. Then in the afternoon, Matt Pauley will be updating the afternoon show. So basically, you don't have to go anywhere today because we'll if you want to know what's happening with the trade deadline with the Cardinals, if something breaks, we're going to have it here on KMOX. We have the Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock, Bernie Miklas and me. So we're going to be covering that for sure. Then Redbird Rush Hour at 5 o'clock today because the deadline is 5. So at 5 o'clock, when the Redbird Rush Hour starts, we will know all the deals being made. Yes, Amy, you are
don't forget
busting to say
11:30,
something.
Ryan Fagan.
Ryan Fagan will be joining
talk.
us. Yeah, Ryan Fagan's going to join us at 11:30. We will talk to Matt Pauley. Prior to that, we'll talk to him at 10 o'clock. So we're going to get plenty of trade coverage today. So we mentioned the development yesterday with County Executive Sam Page. He was indicted. We will discuss that, what is next, and how fun of a situation this is. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji, thank you for being with us on the Chris and Amy Show, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
With the heat we have here in St. Louis, just a note, most air conditioners aren't set or able to handle 100 degrees without running constantly. So before you freak out and think your air conditioner is bad, here's a few tips. If you don't have ceiling fans in your bedrooms, you can get pedestal fans and put them in your room. Keep those running all the time. On a second-story house, put one pedestal fan on top of your steps and blow it into the foyer area up high so it's cooling the heat as it's coming up and circulating the air. If you have an attic fan, simple quick fix, plastic bag, cut it up, and duct tape, because what's happening is it's sucking in all your attic air and the heat and humidity from the outside. Try those things before you call anybody or you call me. But if you did that, please call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. God bless.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade.
Dana Carvey.
Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's live in St. Louis, September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
I think the process should run its course, and the restitution should be decided by the legal system and what the judges and the attorneys, the judges decide.
That's going to be left up. I'm going to leave that up to the judge, and if there's a jury trial, I'll leave it up to the jurors to decide what his punishment should be.
Those are St. Louis County Council members Shalonda Webb, saying that the county executive should resign, and Councilman Dennis Hancock, who said he'll leave it up to the county executive. And of course, that is Sam Page, who was indicted yesterday by a grand jury for allegedly using public funds on this informational pamphlet about Proposition B earlier this year. So Page was indicted on 4 counts, 2 election offenses, which are misdemeanors. And then here are the big ones, the 2 felony counts of stealing by deceit in connection with the mailer. It was stealing more than $25,000. And in my head, you picture him grabbing some cash, but it was stamps
Out of the safe.
Out of the safe, yeah. But it was $30-something thousand in postage. It was $36,000 on postage on an information flyer sent out to voters about Proposition B. And you can't do that.
Yeah, he was arguing against it, and you cannot use taxpayer money to do such a thing. I mean, you can make the argument against it publicly, but you can't pay for it, right? That's pretty much what this is all about. I mean, I suppose this is not taking $25,000 and buying a used Ford Escort, which probably wouldn't cost $25,000 for, buying something for personal use. But it was a personal opinion that he had on this, a professional opinion. You can't do it. You
can't use taxpayer money to say vote this way.
And he doesn't have a whole lot of allies. We've talked about this. So it's not like he's getting a ton of support from the council. I think he has one person there who is supporting him or has been supportive of him recently.
It's Lisa Clancy.
Yeah, but for the most part, he doesn't have it out there from Democrats or Republicans.
Yes. And again, I want to clarify. I said postage. It was the creating of the flyer and mailing it out. I don't want to ascribe all $36,000 to the postage, but it was creating these pamphlets. And yeah, I mean, to me, you know how when we say elected officials, you got to be so careful. Like our job, which is like, it's not that important.
Yeah, nobody cares.
We're just giving our stupid opinions all day, every day for way too long. Too many opinions. I'm offended by our job. Yeah. Even we are careful. Like, hey, you got to make sure everything's on the up and up. We can't even give away tickets to see a Billy Joel cover band. We can't because you can't.
It has to go through a process.
It has to go through a process that sometimes is so cumbersome and tedious that we're like, we can't do this. Because we want contest rules and lottery rules are insane.
A sidebar.
Yeah.
And it happens because people, you wouldn't believe it, but listeners complain.
They complain.
They file complaints. You wouldn't.
So you have to
not believe it.
Yeah. So there are times that we would want to give away tickets, but we can't because the legal process is so long and cumbersome. And this is for our stupid little show. So you're the county executive. How do you make such a obviously dumb mistake? Or maybe you just don't care, because if you're using taxpayer money to try to sway voters about Proposition B being bad, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So I'm not. And even I would know that might not be on the up and up.
So the argument from his side is the mailer was strictly for informational purposes and not to really sway opinions. And he was prompted to change a little bit of language in it prior to sending it out, but they didn't. They sent it out the way they allegedly they sent it out the way it had been originally printed. So they didn't change whatever language would have made this maybe a non-issue.
And remember, Proposition B would have given the county council the power to fire department heads that maybe Sam Page appointed.
Right.
And I believe they took out the language that would have allowed them to technically fire the county executive. That was taken out because that was even in the mix for a while. But this basically would allow the county council to fire department heads. And so you can see why Sam Page wouldn't want that. And again, like Ron said, they needed to change some of the language, but you can't send out flyers that give the impression that it's your choice to vote against Proposition B or to vote for the big bad Proposition B. In the same way that don't you hate it when you're going to a website to shop for something, maybe clothes or furniture, and there's a pop-up that said, give us your email to save 20%. And then down below it says, no thanks. I'm a big dumb idiot who likes to pay full price.
Mhm.
That's
Yes. Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. No thanks.
No thanks.
I'll pay full price. Like, whoa.
No
Yeah.
thanks. I hate saving money.
Yeah, things are going great for me. I
Yeah.
could pay full price.
It's so condescending.
It really is.
The Prop B pamphlet had a little bit like that.
But
No
it's
thanks.
kind of insulting. It is
Yes.
like, no thanks. I'm too stupid. I'm going to pay full price. Is what they're basically saying.
Some of them, when they're trying to be edgier, literally say like, no, like I hate saving money. I had one of those.
Do you know what makes me happy about this situation, Amy?
I think I know. Can I guess?
Yes.
It is taking all the focus off of your beautiful sheriff.
No. Well, okay. Kind of.
Okay.
No. First of all, I want my sheriff to get as much attention as possible because
He's a beautiful sheriff.
I think it should be a household name, Alfred Montgomery.
Yeah.
The St. Louis sheriff. But it's that it didn't happen in the city. Because I'm just so tired of city stuff happening, and then everybody else who lives in the area goes, see, there it is. There's the city for you. They can't get out of their own way, which is true. But I'm just tired of hearing people who don't live in the city complain about the city. And this would have given them another thing to complain about and say, look, that government's corrupt.
I'm going to translate
I'm so
it
happy.
in Ranj tweeting as Donald Trump. All caps. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page had state troopers show up
quotations.
at his Clayton office in Clayton at the St. Louis County offices. You would focus on that so much. It would be all caps.
Yes, although I would have put Sam Page in quotation marks for some reason.
You would have called
County
him
Executive Sam Page.
Scam Page.
Oh!
Scammy Sam.
Scam Page is
Scammy,
good.
Scammy Sam.
There it is. That's what he would have called him. The president would have called it. Do you think the president knows who Sam Page
He
is?
paid for postage, and I love the post office. We love it. It's a beautiful post office. Sorry, it's just fun.
But isn't it nice? Isn't it nice to have something that's not
You know
something crazy, corrupt, or whatever, allegedly, that didn't happen in St. Louis City? I think it's great.
Here's what we need to do. One of the most famous, like, again, it's Hallmark famous, but one of the most used lead males in Hallmark, who is Canadian, because everything in the Hallmark channel, right, is filmed in Canada. They use Canadian actors. But one of the lead actors, his name is Sam Page. And the last time that Sam Page was in a scandal, he had to pin a tweet. I am not the St. Louis County Executive, wherever that is. He doesn't even know where St. Louis is. He's from Canada, this poor guy.
Oh,
I
man.
got to check on his Twitter because I bet he's getting blown up.
What an insult.
He said people were sending him like horrible tweets. He's like, I'm not the St. Louis County Executive.
Sam Page, he's a Hallmark actor?
Google Sam Page Hallmark.
Okay. Well, I was going to try to find his Twitter account and see if he's getting any.
I wonder if he got rid of it.
Oh my gosh, this is really great. I'll check it out.
Okay.
But we're going to continue to follow this story because Sam Page, the county executive, has been indicted. Yeah. Thank you for not having this happen in St. Louis City. And also save our sheriff. My sheriff. Save my sheriff. Do not come for Alfred Montgomery. Text messages to 314-436-7900. And this text message regarding the trade deadline says what Raj might be remembering somewhat recently was a player who started a game on one team. Game was rain delayed to be finished at a later date. He was traded to the other team before they resumed the game. I believe that was Danny Jansen. And Sean Malone from the KMOX newsroom was listening to the segment and came in and told us about Danny Jansen, which I now remember. So thank you to the text messenger and to Sean Malone, who's on top of all of the stories here in St. Louis and on top of sports trades. So he's multifaceted. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. Senator Hawley voted in favor of a bill that would prevent Congress people and the vice president and president from trading individual stocks. And the current president didn't like it so much. We're going to discuss that when we come back on KMOX.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM 104.1 FM KMOX.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Spending 2 hours staring at the back of someone's bumper isn't the best way to end your day. So Jack in the Box is giving you a bonus with their new Bonus Jack Combo. Fries, a drink, and a burger with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 patties starting at just $4.49. Get so much more.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
The information that members of Congress are privy to is technically not covered by the insider trading laws, but nobody really believes that the information that we get isn't valuable. It is quite valuable, which is why back during COVID, you saw members of Congress of both parties engage in a flurry of stock trading right after they were getting COVID briefings. Were members of the public getting those briefings? They were not. Were members of the public privy to the kind of information that was being given to members of Congress? No, they were not.
It is a great point. It is the point. It's something, Ranj, that you've talked about a lot. That was Senator Josh Hawley as he introduced the Pelosi bill that would bar members of Congress and their spouses from trading stocks. He named it, of course, after Representative Nancy Pelosi of California. She has come under a lot of scrutiny because her husband has been trading extensively. Now, as we know, extensively trading without hard evidence of insider information. I feel like it's hard to believe that spouses aren't talking about what's going on in Congress, and the fact that Nancy Pelosi is now worth over $500 million leads me to believe that she, like other members of Congress, are capitalizing on what they know. They know what contracts are in the pipeline. They know which companies are going to maybe face some tough regulations, or are going to sign massive contracts with the government. And I think Josh Hawley is right on this.
For her part, she did endorse the bill, by the way.
Yes.
So she's in favor of this. And it has been renamed, I guess, the Honesty Act. Instead, it was the Pelosi Act, just to take a dig at her. And she acknowledged that, it's clever, great, whatever. But the bottom line is this. I don't care if it's Nancy Pelosi or Kelly Loeffler in Georgia, who did the exact same thing.
Marjorie Taylor Greene right
after COVID. It has happened on both sides of the aisle. How many people do you know? Let's put it this way. If you were to walk out onto the street and find 10 people, you're in St. Louis, you might have difficulty finding 10 people. But if you find 10 people and you ask them, do you think Congress people, the president, the vice president, senators, should they all be allowed to trade individual stocks knowing that they get information the rest of us don't? I bet 10 of them would say no.
Yeah.
This would be a universally popular law
Yeah.
if they put it into place.
I mean, when you're talking about these massive multi-million, billion-dollar deals with individual companies and you're trading individual stocks, you're telling me that these Congress people are going home and saying, no, honey, I'm not going to mention at all any of the things that we talked about today. And I'm not going to say to make a trade or two. It is absolutely insane to think that the information that people in Congress have is not being utilized in trading. It would be naive.
It's crazy
super
naive. Yeah, there's no
If
question
I
about
winked
that.
at you and was like, man, if I just wink at Ranj and we could make $100 million, you think I'm not going to do that?
Well, if I learn something like, hey, we're about to announce this huge semiconductor bill or something, I mean, or actually, I would put it the other way around. If you held on to a stock that was going to have some sort of, I don't know, restrictions placed on that industry, I would probably be stupid to not dump some of that stock, would I not? If I knew that maybe profits would go down, why would I not do that? If I knew about it ahead of time, would I just lose money? I don't think I would. I think any human would probably say, well, I better get to my broker and do something. I better get to E-Trade and figure this out, because you're not going to voluntarily lose money. But the rest of us don't have access to that same information. And that's what just for example, and she's not the only one, but Kelly Loeffler did with, it was Zoom. It was like the teleconferencing technology, because there was prior knowledge that all of these companies and all these restrictions were going to start to be placed for COVID, and that people were going to start to work from home. And there was I better get into telecom because people are going to work from home and they're going to do Zoom calls. So that stock shot up, right? And to know that ahead of time, why would you not act on it?
If I were Martha Stewart, I'd just fund my own ads, like talking about this bill.
Oh, yeah.
And just trying to get the word out. Because remember, everyone said, well, Martha Stewart went to jail for insider trading. No, she actually was never even convicted on insider trading. She was convicted of lying to investigators about a purchase of a stock. It's always the lie that gets you.
It is.
And she went to jail. And I do feel like when you think of all the things that people have done in this world, I feel like they were making a point with Martha Stewart. Like, we're going to send her to prison. Well, what about all of these Congress people? I guarantee you that what a lot of these people in Congress have done is way worse than what Martha Stewart did.
I bet that cell smelled of cardamom. I bet it smelled really good.
If I had to go to prison, like if I were Steve Stenger and I went to one of those, white collar crime prisons, he was in South Dakota. Side note, not important and weird, but somehow like they had his prisoner number. You can find it, right? It's easy. And I would always check. For anybody.
Oh, you can find any inmate.
Yeah. So I would just check to see if he was still there. Not sure why. I mean, he's out now, but I'd be like, oh, look, there's Steve Stenger still in prison. But if you were him, what if you're, now he's a man, but if you're in with Martha Stewart, aren't you kind of thinking like, hey, I could come out of this way better than I went in?
Oh, of course. You can learn so much.
You could learn so much.
Maybe you could become a partner with her.
You come out of prison.
Protect her in prison. Protect her from being shanked.
As a baker and a decorator.
Yeah. She rebounded nicely. By
she
the
does
way,
soil commercials now for Miracle Grow, and she's best friends with Snoop Dogg.
She's doing okay.
Only one of those two has been to prison.
Now, the president is not happy with Josh Hawley and his vote in favor of this bill on Truth Social, saying in part, I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who has had unprecedented success, targeted because of the whims of a second-tier senator named Josh Hawley. So that's how your president referred to Senator Josh Hawley, called him second tier, which is an insult. It is very clearly an insult. Hawley says that he met with the president after the fact and they had, quote, a nice meeting. So for what it's worth, that's what happened. Trump didn't like what Hawley did. And this is one of those, Josh Hawley has done quite a few things lately, or at least made public statements in favor of some ideas that I am in favor of. And this is absolutely one of them. Also, he's done things on the other side where he's saying we should do a $600 rebate to everybody except for people who voted for Joe Biden. That's, I mean, that is a little odd, but I do think that this is a good one. This is a very good thing, and I don't know that the average person would be against it. In fact, I'm confident the average person would not be against it.
Yeah, I mean, I also think we've talked about the allure of power and how enticing it is to have money and to be a star and to be driven everywhere and to be feted at parties in Washington and everywhere you go, because a normal 80-year-old would want to spend some time with their family, maybe step away from a high-stress job. I know a lot of people we talk to are excited about retirement. So why is it that senators and representatives would rather die in office, decrepit and sometimes halfway or less there mentally, than go home and spend time with their families? Like I said, I mentioned the allure of power. I mentioned it's a high to be driven around everywhere and have a motorcade and be feted at fancy restaurants, but also maybe because you can make a pretty good living knowing what's going on.
Well, I think it's that for some people, but I also think there is a lot of narcissism that exists, and it's this feeling, and I think Joe Biden had this in him, that he legitimately felt he was the only one who could beat Donald Trump. He was the only one who could fix this or fix that. I think that sometimes you've been in this position for a long time and you've had success as a legislator. You probably do start to believe that nobody else can do it. It has to be me. I am the one who, by the way, everybody begged him to run in 2016 and he didn't want to. He refused to. It went poorly for the Democrats. I don't think that didn't play into his mindset either, where, they didn't win in 2016, but he came in 2020 and saved the day. So he probably thinks, only I can do it. I'm the one here. And I guarantee you there are a lot of people in Congress, in the Senate, who feel the exact same thing, that only they can fix a problem.
So regarding Senator Hawley, and like we said, he is a populist, right? And he is pushed forward with a lot of those initiatives that appeal to, yes, the Republican Party now, but also to Democrats and traditional Democrats. And after the tornado, he was calling out insurance companies and telling them that they better step up. They need to pay these people. He'll be breathing down their necks. He was breathing down the necks of big tech and the monopolies that big tech has. Boeing, he went after Boeing, which is tricky because it's his state, right, where they are. But he went after Boeing. He was so vocal, and he's been adamant when it comes to the Westlake landfill and Coldwater Creek and the RECA Act, making sure that people are compensated for the damage done by the government as they developed the nuclear bomb. And now you see him with this initiative to stop insider trading. I think on theme, insider trading or trading, I should say, among Congress people, because they might have insider trading. I think we need to get Senator Josh Hawley on the Ameren thing. What's going on? We're not getting a straight answer from Ameren.
It's not just Ameren, Missouri. It's happening in Illinois too.
Yes.
I just talking to family and a couple of family members, and they both have had theirs spike. Like dramatically
it's so much
compared
money,
to
Ron.
last year in July. This is not like well, yes, of course it was more expensive in July than June because it was warmer in July. No, this is more expensive than it was the prior year. Something is not right here. And somebody needs to figure it out with Ameren, because my guess is there will be a breaking or some sort of tipping point that happens in the next several weeks. And something changes. I don't know what that's going to be, but this is not sustainable. People can't have their energy bills go up 40, 50% or more. It's not 500%. Sustainable.
Yeah. No, it's not. And like I said, when the Missouri Public Services Commission approved the 12% rate hike in the state, Ameren said it will average out to about $12 per household. It's not at all. People are seeing bills that are doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Fox 2, as I mentioned, had several customers showing them their bills saying, look, here was $120. And now this is $395.
Well,
and I understand that it's cheaper than medical bills. But to me, to express the impact that such a heavy monthly increase in rate will hit with people is that it feels like a medical bill, a medical emergency. It hits you. You didn't plan for it.
And you have no choice but to pay it.
You have no choice but to pay it. It messes up your budget. You can't. How do you pay for groceries? Hundreds of dollars per month more is a potentially devastating impact on people.
Either Ameren, these energy companies around the country are going to have to answer for this and figure it out, or the government's going to have to step in and do something about it. And I know this president campaigned on lowering costs for people. My personal opinion is maybe we should be spending less money on all this immigration stuff and throwing people into some prison that's not even in the country, and focus on stuff like this, because this does matter to people every single day, every single household.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that matters. Focus on this.
So if you are Josh Hawley and you're listening, first, thank you for listening. If you know Josh Hawley or connect with Josh
Actually, if you
Hawley,
are listening, get to work, dude. Don't be listening to us.
Oh, he can listen at work. That's what Harambe
No,
does.
he needs to be paying attention.
Harambe listens at work.
Harambe needs to be paying attention to work.
Oh, that's
His
it.
work is suffering.
Oh, look who's done a 180.
I know.
You're always telling people to mail it in.
That's also true.
At any rate, unless you're Sam Page, don't mail it in with taxpayer dollars.
You'll go to jail.
You'll go to jail.
Potentially.
Senator Josh Hawley, can you look into this?
Yes, please
What's
look into
going on?
this. We're going to talk to Maria Kina about this at 11 o'clock. She is on the story with Ameren, had an interview with a spokesperson there a couple of days ago. I don't think went well at all. Not because of her, but because the person just had no answers. And that is not good enough for the people of the state of Missouri or Illinois or anywhere else in the country. So we'll talk to Maria Kina. We'll get the latest at 11 o'clock on that. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. Did you see this? Next on the Chris and Amy Show, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Deldon, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. 1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6. Right here on KMOX.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. Head to Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood Reich. Register to win great prizes, enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be, Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ronj, I know you saw this, and I hope I'm not stealing it from you, but High Noon, you know, the seltzer drinks.
Yes.
They made a mistake.
Yeah.
They made a mistake. So.
Well, High Noon's not the energy drink. High Noon is the
vodka seltzer.
Vodka seltzer.
Now.
And they are delicious.
Celsius is an energy drink.
Yes.
It's the same company. So High Noon had to recall some of its vodka seltzer drinks because they accidentally mislabeled them as Celsius. Meaning, if you're waking up, you're going to work, it's 8 a.m., and you need a little bit of energy, and you glug a Celsius, it could be vodka.
Dude, okay.
They accidentally labeled them as Celsius energy drinks, which do not contain alcohol. It says consumption of this liquid in these cans will result in unintentional alcohol ingestion. They were sent to stores in New York, Florida, Michigan, Virginia, South Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin between July 21st and July 23rd.
Oh, no. So here's my question, and I think it's probably the question everybody else would have.
Okay.
If you drink a Celsius in the morning instead of coffee, what if you drive to work? Maybe you have two of them.
Right.
Is it possible that you get drunk?
Yes. You'd be blitzed.
And not know it? And you get pulled over? And you get a DUI? Has there been a single case in the country that we are aware of yet of a person getting pulled over in a DUI after drinking Celsius or thinking that's all they had, but it turned out there was booze in it? Because that is first of all, that's a huge lawsuit. It has to be.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd prove it.
Someone tweeted out like class action lawsuits.
There you go.
Lawyers start your engines.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
that
Ron,
is a huge mistake.
Honest question. Now, I drink coffee, but let's say, I run, right? We talked about sweating. Yep. I'm sweating. I'm running. I'm in a hurry. I grab a Celsius. I drive to work, and I'm chugging that Celsius. Do you know how quickly I'd be drunk with no breakfast, having run, having sweated, and, not having eaten since dinner the night before? I don't know if I would think that I was having a heart attack or getting sick. What would you think is happening? Because it would never occur to me that there was alcohol in it.
I would not think that there was booze in it. I don't know. I might think that I need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like to be drunk. Well,
I don't.
But a lot of people do.
I bet.
If you started to get that feeling and all you've had is an energy drink, you probably get really concerned.
I think I would, because I think I would get lightheaded. Because I can tell you this, a friend of mine did the Ironman, like the real Ironman, which takes, it took him like 11 hours. And he said he took a few sips of beer afterwards and had to stop because he goes, it felt like I had just done like 5 shots.
Oh,
because he was so dehydrated that it went right to his blood.
I had one time where this was years ago. I had a Saturday afternoon shift because the I had to work. Okay.
Yeah.
And so went out with a lady friend for a minute for lunch. We had, and she's like, let's have a couple of beers. So I had a couple.
Yeah.
I had like 2 beers, like literally just 2. And then got dropped off at work at like 5 o'clock. And when I walked in, I was like, dude, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Like this is probably not great.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was fine. But I can't imagine if you're not expecting that and then you have that feeling, you probably do think you're sick.
Yeah.
So for me, if I have an energy drink or if I have a couple of them, and we know people here who drink multiple Red Bulls or multiple Celsiuses or whatever, you start to feel really jittery after a couple. So I would know if I'm jittery, I would know, okay, I've had too much energy drink. If I started to feel drunk, I would think something was wrong. So at any rate, you know the show Love is Blind?
Uh-huh.
Well, this is, I meant to get to this the other day and I wasn't able to, but Love is Blind is coming to St. Louis. They are casting in St. Louis. So the show is hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey. And
Nick Lachey.
Nick Lachey. I love Nick Lachey.
He's
Used to be
from
married
the
to
boy
Jess.
band.
Yes, 98 Degrees or O-Town. I can't remember. I think it's 98 Degrees.
Yeah.
And used to be married to Jessica Simpson. So this is a social experiment show where people try to fall in love without having seen each other.
Okay.
And then they can propose. You can propose to somebody that you have not seen yet. And then after the proposal, if it's accepted, then they reveal what the person looks like. So it's called Love is Blind. So they're going to be casting here in St. Louis.
So here's my question. With all reality shows, they act like they pick normal people, but all these people are very good looking. Is
course they are.
Love is Blind, are they all generally pretty good looking?
I've actually not seen it.
I've not seen it either.
So I don't know.
Like, it's not normal people on these shows. Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love Island, whatever.
You're not gonna-
Bachelors in Paradise?
Yeah, I don't think there are any ogres on it.
Well, you wouldn't know.
No.
Until it was too late. Quick note, great news for us. Well, just on the YouTube stream. YouTube loosened its profanity rules, which means creators now, they can cuss and swear within the first 7 seconds of a video and still monetize the video.
Wait, where is this?
YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. So generally, in 2022, YouTube changed the rules so that if you swore in the first 8 to 15 seconds, you could potentially be ineligible for any ad revenue. But now you can cuss right away.
Good. That's a silly rule. Why would that be? Why would you not? I don't know. The whole monetization rules and standards, I don't really get them when it comes to YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. I know that if you're watching reels on Instagram or on TikTok, you see these really silly ways of censoring words so the algorithm doesn't kill their videos.
Like, a lot of them are like sex related,
Like,
whether it's
instead
like
of rape, they'll say grape. They'll call it grape.
Yeah. Or
which
I
is
was unalive.
unalive instead of killed,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
Or they just cross it out.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, whether it's violent or sexual, they have ways to get around the algorithm.
5 o'clock today is the trade deadline for Major League Baseball. The Cardinals have already been active. How much more is to come? We're going to find out by talking to Matt Pauley, who's the host of Sports Open Line and Redbird Rush Hour. And Matt joins the show next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It is 10 o'clock, cloudy skies downtown, breezy and 76 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is taking on his own party in the Senate. He was the lone Republican vote to advance his own bill banning stock trading for those elected to federal offices. This got him called a second-tier senator by President Trump, who posted, "I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who has had unprecedented success, targeted." Hawley says his bill would only impact congressmen.
We have an opportunity here today to do something that the public has wanted us to do for decades, and that is to ban members of Congress from profiting on information that, frankly, only members of Congress have in the buying and selling of stock.
The bill would force those in Congress to divest from the stock market. Hawley says it's essential for restoring public trust, but the bill faces an uncertain future in the full Senate. An appeals court in D.C. hearing arguments on a case brought by blue state governments challenging President Trump's authority to levy tariffs against almost all nations without congressional approval. It comes a day ahead of Trump's own deadline to work out new trade deals where the levels will be implemented. At the heart of the case is Trump citing a 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act to justify all the tariffs that he's seeking to impose. He says it's an emergency. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson says any ruling will be landmark and probably wind up in the Supreme Court.
We're looking at questions about whether or not Congress can actually give the president this power at all. And this goes all the way back to the Constitution. The Constitution, as we know, says Congress gets to regulate commerce among foreign nations.
In a social media post, former Vice President Kamala Harris says she's written a book about her presidential run.
With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward.
The book is called 107 Days, the length of her presidential campaign. The Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force on the road this morning, heading back to Christian County to rescue the rest of the dogs from a hoarding situation they learned about from an anonymous tip. The task force says as many as 150 small dogs and puppies have been surrendered by their owner. The dogs were encrusted in feces and filth and are being taken to the Mackland Avenue location for baths, medical attention, and eventually adoption. And now with the latest on the Cardinals before the trading deadline, here's Tom Ackerman.
Debbie, just moments ago, a deal that sent shockwaves through Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres are acquiring A's closer Mason Miller and starter J.P. Sears. That is a report from Jeff Passan just minutes ago. Miller, one of the best closers in the game. So the Padres, already with a good bullpen, are bulking up and basically responding to what the Mets did yesterday. The Mets went wild on their bullpen, including getting Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals for a trio of single-A prospects. The Cardinals also traded Steven Matz to the Red Sox for Blaze Jordan, a power-hitting first base prospect from Boston. And there were more deals earlier this morning. The Guardians trading Shane Bieber, their starter, to the Blue Jays, and reliever Paul Sewald to the Tigers. Stay with us. We have updates at the top of the hour, and we will break in if the Cardinals finalize a deal. I'm Tom Ackerman, KMOX Sports.
Mostly cloudy and much cooler than recent days through the afternoon hours with a stray shower. It'll be breezy at times, high 78. Clearing and cooler tonight, though, 68. Mostly sunny and beautiful tomorrow with low humidity, high 81. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is 76 degrees and cloudy. The weather sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electric. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed and we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said. Call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late. JerryKelly.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
This ball game has come to an end. The Cardinals have been shut out for the 12th time this season, and they've been shut out in back-to-back games. Last night, Miami won it 5-0. Tonight, 2-0.
Go Paulie! Paulie's a great name. Go Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Matt Pauley, our guy. Sports Open Line is coming up. Well, actually, yeah, tonight we'll have a full Sports Open Line. There's a Redbird Rush Hour prior to that at 5 o'clock, and it's perfect timing because the trade deadline is at 5 o'clock. And even before that, Matt Pauley this afternoon will be delivering hourly updates on baseball's trade deadline because it comes up. We are, 7 hours away from it, just a little under 7 hours away from that. Cardinals have done things already. We'll find out what's coming next. Matt Pauley, what's going on, my friend?
Not much, just trying to keep up with everything. Things are popping.
Matt, I was going to ask you, is trade deadline to you what storm mode is to the meteorologists?
Oh, that's good. No.
Oh, come on.
It isn't?
It is.
So, do I need? Okay, I'll lie. You know, let's make this a bigger deal than it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
you know,
called content, Matt.
Yeah, dude.
Just Michael Calhoun gets so excited when it comes to severe weather in the afternoon. That's me right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's what I picture. Like you've got 5 different screens. You're in one of those spinning chairs, and you're just like looking at all the screens.
We build it up. We're going to talk trade deadline coming up at 5 o'clock. Matt Pauley to give us the latest. Matt, you must love the trade deadline. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah,
I bet Michael Calhoun likes storms more than I like the trade deadline.
Yeah, nobody cares about the trade deadline.
So this is I do like the trade deadline. Yesterday was kind of an empty day at the ballpark. I think that's why I'm feeling this way, because when you're covering a team that is selling, this is kind of the day where it's like, okay, I guess it's not going to happen this year. And for a guy like Ryan Helsley to get moved yesterday, somebody who's been a really, really, really good Cardinal. It's not that the Cardinals did the right thing. They should be trading Ryan Helsley, and they should trade everybody that they can today. So it's not in no way, shape, or form is it a criticism of them, but it's just kind of as somebody who likes to watch the Cardinals win baseball games, it's just kind of a sort of day.
Well, it's disappointing because what it makes you think of is what they could be right now as an organization, and they're not there. Because you think about what they were. It wasn't that long ago they were in a World Series. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I guess we're over 10 years ago. So it's starting to get it's been a little long, but they have been competitive more recently, and now they're just not. So it's a reminder of where they aren't. So that's the disappointment of a day like today.
2022, there were people who thought that this team could win the World Series, and who knows? Maybe they win that series against the Phillies. Who knows what ends up happening? So that's not that long ago. Now the team looks very different. There was obviously a few guys on that team that are not around now and might be headed to Cooperstown. But yeah, that's the fact that the team played so well earlier this year, where it felt like they were going to have an opportunity to maybe be a playoff club this year. I am curious though. Like, I'm not trying to put lipstick on a pig here. I'm really not. Things could turn in a bad direction here. The most recent tweet that I saw from Bob Nightingale is that the Cardinals are open for business, and Lars Nootbaar and Alec Burleson and everybody is being talked about. So this thing might get stripped down even more than I was expecting it to do when I went to bed last night. But I am curious what it's going to look like here moving forward with some younger players getting an opportunity. Like relief pitching is, and admittedly, I'm a guy who falls in love with relief pitchers. I always see the best in relief pitchers. But I am mildly excited about the notion of being able to see more of Matt Swanson and more of Andre Granillo and more of Riley O'Brien, and getting the opportunity to see these guys in larger roles. And I think they can have some success. So I don't know how much of a drop-off it's going to be, but it would be disingenuous to not say that it's going to be some level of a drop-off.
Matt, the Cardinals obviously traded their longest tenured player in Ryan Helsley. They traded Steven Matz to the Red Sox. What do you make of what they got in return? Any hope in some of those young guys?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not the guy who's going to break down prospects, but I can tell you that from an industry standpoint, everybody is saying that the Cardinals did well. One of the players that they got back in the Helsley deal was, according to Baseball America, a top 100 prospect when the season got started, has since fallen out of the top 100, but 3 months ago, a top 100 prospect. Top 100 prospects don't get moved at the deadline very often, especially for rentals. So I think they did well. Now, I would remind that there was some pushback yesterday after the deal got done. There was a pushback on two things. The first thing was that the centerpiece of that deal is a shortstop. I would remind people that doesn't matter. All the kid's 20 years old. All that tells you is he's athletic. So that's why he's a shortstop. A lot of people think he projects more as a third baseman. You don't need to be worried about what position a player is playing right now when he's 20 years old. That's likely to change. Generally, just the most athletic guys are shortstops at that age, and you kind of move on from there. The other thing, and I get this frustration, these guys might be 2, 3, 4 years away. And I think it is a reminder that what the Cardinals are trying to do, and Oliver Marmol had a fantastic answer when talking to the Gas House Gang earlier this week. And he was talking about the long-term goals for this organization and how they want to be a team that goes out and they're ready to win on an every single night basis. And they feel like they can, really legitimately continue for championships and not being in the middle like they're in right now. Well, that's a process. That's not something that can be done next year. Could they go do some things in the offseason this year to once again be in the area where maybe they can sneak into the playoffs next year? Yeah, that's a possibility, and maybe they do that. But the bigger thing right now is this organization trying to put themselves into a position where they can legitimately be contending for world championships on an every single year basis. And that's going to take some time. So that's part of why I think some of these players that the Cardinals got yesterday and probably get today are players that are part of more of a long-term plan. And no, they are not going to be around to help the 2026 Cardinals.
So we had, when we pushed out the podcast of Tuesday's Gas House, I believe we put up the quote that you mentioned from Ollie, where he's talking about what he wants to be. His team should be, kicking everybody's butt instead, right? And I don't remember the exact words he used, but there was one response, and it's funny that he thinks he's going to be a part of this next year. And I responded to that guy, and I said he should be, because I think he should. And I know there are people who believe they should move on from him. For some reason, that really offends me. It offends me that people think he's the problem with this team and the reason they're not winning. And I don't understand. I guess I do, but it's still difficult to accept that people have such a tough time understanding it's about the roster. It's the roster. It's the roster. It isn't the manager. Why do people have such a difficult time with that concept?
I don't know. It is frustrating because there are numbers that show how good of a manager Oliver Marmol is. Yeah, they have a negative run differential right now, and before yesterday's game, they were still above 500. I believe the only team in baseball with a negative run differential above 500. That was the case for them last year as well. By all metrics, Oliver Marmol is getting the most out of this roster. There is a talent deficit comparing the Cardinals to other teams. I don't know what's going to happen next year. Chaim Bloom's going to have the opportunity to make a decision on a manager. I don't think it's 100% guaranteed that Oliver Marmol is the Cardinals manager next year, but it certainly sounds like he's having conversations about what the future looks like. So that makes me feel like he's likely to still be around next year. I'm hopeful that he's still going to be around next year. I would like to see Oliver Marmol manage this team and see what it looks like in the Chaim Bloom era, because I have to think that Chaim and Ollie are pretty like-minded on a number of things. There has to be some level of excitement from Ollie of the opportunity to work for Chaim and see what that's going to be moving forward. But is there a possibility that Ollie is not managing the Cardinals in 2026? Yes, that is, as much as I hope that doesn't happen, yes, that is a possibility.
The danger with that, and it's not really dangerous, but it's the reason that could happen, I think, is because sometimes when a guy takes over as GM, president of baseball operations, they want to have their guy. They want to be able to make the decision on the manager because that's the most important hire they can make. And if it's a guy who was already there when they got there, a lot of times they're less likely to keep him around.
Yeah, but two things. First off, Chaim's not walking in the front door when the season comes to an end. He's here. He's got a relationship with Ollie. So
right.
That's a little bit different than most situations. Chaim probably knows right now whether or not Oliver Marmol is going to be the Cardinals manager next year or not. And there's probably not a whole lot that can happen between now and him officially taking over at the end of the year that can change that. The other thing I would say is I think Chaim's got like bigger fish to fry here at the beginning of his tenure. He's got a manager in place, and it's the final year of his contract. Go do other stuff. And then if it becomes evident that the Cardinals need a new manager, you can make that decision for 2027 and beyond. I don't think changing the manager, if Chaim is comfortable with Ollie right now, I don't think changing the manager is going to be a very fruitful endeavor.
No, it wouldn't matter who the manager is of this team right now. I don't think they wouldn't be a playoff team. Okay, before the deadline, 5:00, Arenado, Burleson, Donovan, all of these names have come. Newt Barr's name has come up. You think something else happens of significance?
Yeah, Phil Maton gets traded. That's the one that you're never 100% sure of something, but I'm pretty darn close to 100% on that one. Maton didn't even travel with the team, so the team's pretty confident. That's a good sign that they're going to go ahead and get a deal done. I think the Cardinals pull off at least one other move, and it involves a position player. I don't know. I have no feeling towards. Is it Arenado? Is it Burleson? Is it Donovan? I have no feel towards who it's going to be. Do they find a way to get Arenado out there? But I think they move at least one position player here.
All right. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Paulie, I'll call you later.
He wasn't ready. Pajeski fell asleep over there at the wheel.
You're the best, Matt.
Matt Paulie.
Enjoy storm mode.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. So Matt Pauley, 5 o'clock, Redbird Rush Hour, and he's got updates throughout the afternoon, every hour. And if something breaks, Matt Pauley will burst in and he will tell us all about
Somebody's
it.
going to come flying through the door.
But Tom Ackerman up until 12 o'clock is going to be doing that job too. So Tom might burst in through the door.
I hope so. I like it when people burst
The
through
Cardinals
the door.
have made another trade.
Makes
That's what he'll say.
Makes me feel important.
So be listening in. We're going to also talk trade deadline at 11:30 with writer Ryan Fagan, who is a contributor to STL Sports Central as well. He's going to join the show today. So we're all over it, baby. You don't have to go nowhere. You stay right here. You want trade coverage. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Yo, Paulie, this is with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX, sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Hi, this is Jim from Caseyville, Illinois. Last month's electric bill was $205. This month's electric bill is $476. That's kind of high.
Yikes.
Wow.
Dude, that's a double.
Huge jump.
Almost. No, it's more than double. And I know that.
Don't do math.
Like, I think it's not unusual from month to month for it to go up because it gets warmer, obviously, in July. So, yeah, it's hotter in July than it is in June. So you're naturally going to use more power. I think we're interested more in what your July bill in 2025 compared to 24 was. But that's still a really big increase because it's not like it was cold in June. We still had heat in June. So it shouldn't be that much higher.
Well, mine doubled in June because the rate hike went into effect in June.
So that's also part of it.
Yeah. So mine did double in June before we even had the super hot and humid weather, which I do think, as a quick note, I know it wasn't the hottest July on record. The 1930s were insane in every aspect of the 1930s were insane and the highs were like 108. But when we talked to our buddy Jeff Nordine, I did read that this could be the highest dew point, like the most humid summer ever, which makes it miserable. Along the lines of Ameren, again, another concern. This was an email from Mary in Edwardsville. Chris and Amy, I listened to the show this morning. I love the show. I want to thank you for standing up for us. My power bill went up $200 like others, which is a lot for me. I'm retired and only have my Social Security, so I appreciate you not accepting her answers, her being the Ameren spokesperson. Thank you, guys. So, Mary, that's exactly what it is. I think of all the people on fixed income. Like I said, a parent, a single mom, you're working, you're budgeting. When you're talking about hundreds of dollars more than you were expecting, the only thing I can liken this to is a medical emergency that's unexpected. And now you have to pay it. You're on a payment plan. You're trying to do something, but it really sets you back.
And the thing about a medical bill is you're going to be on the hook for it eventually, but you can at least like, well, I'm not going to pay it right now. Your electricity bill, you can't not pay it right now because they will turn your electricity off. So that's the problem with this. And by the way, temperatures, once you got to about the 2nd or 3rd of June, they were at least 90 degrees in St. Louis, and it was between 90 and 95 all the way through. And then we had some 100 degrees in July. It got hotter, but you're still in the low to mid 90s for the entire month of June. That's hot. And you would still be running your air conditioner. So it should not be almost 60% higher the following year or the following month.
And we will be speaking with Maria Kina, KMOX reporter, at 11 o'clock today about the two stories she's been hounding, the Ameren rate hikes, as well as St. Louis County Executive Sam Page's indictment. But we talked to Maria Kina about budget billing.
Yeah.
Ameren has a budget billing. We had a texter say, well, I use budget billing. I'm going to get Maria's experience with budget billing and why I believe she turned it down because the numbers didn't make sense for her.
Right. And I know for a lot of people.
And I don't have the numbers in my head right now, so I want to talk to her.
Yeah.
But I just assumed budget billing would be helpful, but it actually didn't work for her.
Because we've had a lot of text messages and people watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter who have said budget billing, do that instead. It may not be the fix that you think it is. Let's talk to Rick in South City. Hello, Rick.
Hey, hi.
Hello, Rick. Are you
okay?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm there. I was working on my tractor.
All right. All right. Be careful.
Be careful. What's up, Rick?
Well, my electric bill, too, like everybody else, I looked at mine and reverted back to last year. To this year, UE noted that I used 13% less electric this month.
In July.
Last billing cycle, in July. But the bill went up from 177 to 286.
Oh.
So Rick, just to clarify, you're saying you used 13% less electric in July 2025.
They show you a little bit on your bill. Anyway, looking at the graph, and my wife goes, "Hey, we use 13% less." Well, great. I go, but look at the bill.
Wait, so 13? I just want to make sure 13% less from July of last year, or 13% less from June?
From July of this year. From July of last year, I used 13% less this July, which there could have been. I didn't, revert back to what the temperature was or whatever, but it didn't really matter because I used 13% less.
Yeah. All right. That's
crazy. Rick, thank you for calling in. Good luck with the tractor work. Be careful.
Be careful.
Thank you for that call. That's insane. I think, and that's the type of thing that Maria has been investigating. When the numbers don't line up, it makes zero sense that Ameren would propose to the Missouri Public Service Commission a 12% rate hike and tell them for most households, the average household, it will be about $12 more a month. Then to see the bills double and triple, even if you're using less electric than you did the year before, The numbers don't add up.
There are going to be a number of people, I'm sure, that are going to call in and text in and say, you don't know what you're talking about. And
we haven't gotten
here's
any
this,
of those
here's
yet,
this. Well, looks like there's one on hold.
Okay.
There's one on hold right now. We're not going to have time to get to it right now. We can get to it after we talk to Major Garrett. But look, you're going to have a very difficult time convincing me of this being okay when the end result is there are people who cannot afford to have their electricity bills double or go up 40%, 50% from the prior year. I don't care what the reason is. Somebody else is going to have to figure this out because people can't afford it. It's crazy to expect us to be able to do that. We're going to talk to Major Garrett. When we come back, we'll get into some national politics and what's happening in Washington, D.C. That's next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007 now.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. For over 30 years, St. Louis families have trusted Suntrup Ford Westport and Suntrup Ford Kirkwood as a proud, family-owned and operated dealership. We offer more than just great deals. We offer peace of mind. At Suntrup Ford, you'll find a huge selection of inventory to choose from, unmatched customer service, and our exclusive lifetime powertrain protection program. Visit in store or online at suntrupford.com. Save more at Suntrup Ford. Visit suntrupford.com.
Currently, it is 75 degrees. 75. It feels like 81, cloudy with maybe a shower or two in places. A high today of 78. Yes, you heard it right. Get ready for this. Tonight, a low of 62. Sponsored by Anderson Hospital.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, RetireSafeSTL.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, RetireSafeSTL.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Tomorrow night, the Cards, the Padres. Ameren Total Access 745. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX. It's Major News with Major Garrett, our weekly conversation with CBS's chief Washington correspondent.
It is just after 10:30 on Thursday, means we talk to Major Garrett, chief Washington correspondent for CBS, host of The Takeout, which airs on CBS News 24/7. Takeout happens every day. It's awesome, and we've got Major with us, also awesome. How's it going, sir?
Very well, thank you. In addition to the things I pay attention to in Washington, which are numerous, I'm also keeping a very sharp eye on websites like CBSSports.com and ESPN, because today is the trading deadline for Major League Baseball teams. And we're buyers, and I'm very curious what the Padres will be acquiring, because it's going to be a busy day for those who are buying.
They're about to trade Dylan Cease, so you should be aware of that.
So.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
think
that's
so.
going to happen. And in fact, the Cardinals and Padres play tomorrow in California.
Indeed. Yeah. We welcome the Cardinals to San Diego. You were nice hosts in St. Louis.
They're going to say, hey, look at the sellers are coming to town. We're having a garage sale over here, Major. Everything's for sale. There's a price
your
tag.
bullpen is much thinner. It will be much thinner this weekend than it was when we were in St. Louis. Yes.
Well,
just not.
But that's what you have to do. You got to retool. You got to replan, and the Cardinals will bounce back. There's no doubt in my mind. It's a great organization.
Well,
that's
thank
right.
you,
Mark
Major.
the tape.
Now he's buttering us up, so bring us down now.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's start with
wherever you want to start, Amy.
Okay.
Where do you want to go?
How about the new, like within the last few minutes, I believe that President Trump is giving Mexico more time with the current tariff rates for trade talks before the deadline. So he's adding 90 days to these trade deal talks. And whether it's this one specifically, Major, or just also, your thoughts about the trade deal with Europe and so forth.
Right.
What can we make of this?
So on the takeout last night, we had an extensive conversation with one of the president's top trade advisors, Peter Navarro. And I opened the show by sort of describing what the conversation was in the last 6 months and where the data tells us we are economically. And the conversation was tariffs are going to be the ruination of everything and vastly inflationary and could possibly do some other damaging things to the U.S. economy. And the data continues to show that's not what's happened. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, that there won't be some inflation from tariffs, but what Peter Navarro said is the president always believed that the global trading system, if the United States asserted itself, would be able to absorb a tariff rate of 10 to 15%, which is sort of where it's at right now. Much higher than it was just a year ago when the average tariff rate for the United States was about 2%. It's about 14.5% now, maybe 14%. So there's more tariff revenue coming in. Countries or their businesses or non-consumers are eating that tariff, and inflation is not raging. It's a little annoying in certain places. Some groceries are expensive. Certainly utility costs are up and insurance continues to be inflationary. But in the main, things haven't been as bad as so many predicted. And that's sort of where we are with the economic data. It's what the administration said would happen. And I basically gave them some credit for having a story that the president started telling the country in January that's proved more true than the doubters, the skeptics, or the harsh critics. And Peter Navarro said, we will continue to negotiate, and what we negotiate, they will be able to absorb, and they will mostly pay the tariffs. American consumers won't. And there'll be a boost for American industries because they'll be more protected than they were previously. And that will allow for more manufacturing growth, more blue and semi-blue collar jobs in this country. We'll have to watch all those data points. But right now, 6 months in, they're in a better place than many people thought they would be. And their approach on tariffs writ large, though unpredictable, a lot of volatility, has created more of what they said it would than the doubters and critics feared would come to pass.
It's interesting, too, with the numbers. The Wall Street Journal today called it the weirdest GDP report ever because, yes, the economy grew 3% on an annual basis. It added 4.99% to GDP, but imports fell 30%.
Right.
And they said, well, numbers don't lie. They don't tell the whole story because imports are still crucial to U.S. economic well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 11% of economic growth are attributed to imports. And there were a lot of imports early because there were efforts to beat the tariffs, get things in and on the shelves or in inventories at a lower rate so you can protect your bottom line and your consumers from any price shocks. Okay. Those inventories have basically been bought down and sold out. So the next stage of this economic story is, what does the fall and winter look like in terms of inflation and actual costs of actual tariffs that are not moving but are permanent? What are they going to do to the cost structure? Now, the Treasury Secretary says it'll be a one-time shock, easily absorbed, and people will barely notice. That might be true. That might not be true. But based on their track record right now, we have to at least give them, the Trump administration, some sense of deference, because they've been more right than wrong so far. All of this, of course, plays into the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is like, this is still sticky, and we're not going to lower interest rates. And the markets got a little unnerved yesterday when Jerome Powell wasn't even committing and even sort of beginning to theorize that there might not be a September rate cut, which got people a little nervous. So the data are at times confusing, but wage growth is up. That's not contested. And because it's up, it is outpacing the rate of inflation, which was not true during much of the Biden presidency. So there are parts of this that are, from the administration's point of view, net working out.
Senator Josh Hawley voted to advance a bill on congressional stock trading, and the president didn't have a good reaction to it, called him a second-tier senator as a result. So I know they had a meeting, and Hawley said it went well. So what's happening here?
So this was an interesting thing yesterday. It played out on a couple of different levels. And we talked about it on my show last night. A couple of reporters who joined me for a conversation about all things politics, in addition to Kamala Harris not running for governor, which means she wants to run for president in 2028. Good luck with that. But on this Josh Hawley question. So Josh Hawley has been pushing this for a long time. And there was a committee meeting yesterday, and it was on the committee website, which Republicans control because they're the majority in the Senate. And it showed a very sharp, angry exchange between Josh Hawley, Senator Jim Langford of Oklahoma, and Rick Scott, Republican of Florida. Because at one point, Josh Hawley said, I don't have a blind trust. I don't have stocks. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have to do these things, okay? To which Rick Scott said, what are you lashing out at billionaires for? I find this disgusting. I'm condensing the arc of the conversation. But it was a very sharp exchange over sort of, what does it mean to be rich? What do you think when you are rich? How do you think about these sort of ethical issues and whether stock trading in Congress is appropriate or inappropriate or not? And it was a big flashpoint. I had to read all of that dialogue on the show last night because the website, which had been carrying this encounter live, scrubbed it. Did not repost that video. So you can't watch that video anymore. So that was a Republican sort of trying to bury this spat in full public view between Rick Scott and Josh Hawley about this underlying question. What does it mean to be rich? Do you have softer or more permissive ethical considerations if you are rich than if you aren't, like Josh Hawley? Then Trump weighs in on it all and says, what are you doing, Josh Hawley? I think this is a dumb idea. You're with Nancy Pelosi. Why would you come after the president? Now, here's what's interesting about all that. Just the day before, meaning the day before yesterday, meaning Tuesday, the president on camera was asked about this question. He said he liked the Hawley legislation, was open to it, thought it was a good idea. The Hawley legislation wouldn't do anything for President Trump, wouldn't threaten him with any investigations, wouldn't cast aspersions on him. But somehow, because he was told or saw that other Democrats are supportive of this Josh Hawley idea, the president went off on a rant. He also went off on a rant against Charles Grassley of Iowa. I don't know if it's pick on Midwestern Republican Senator Week at the White House or not, but the president's picking all sorts of fights as everyone's trying to get out of town for the summer recess. I still think Josh Hawley's legislation on this question of prohibiting members of Congress from trading stocks which they own while they're members of Congress has a better than even chance of passing. But this recent dust-up with the president makes that more problematic than it was just the day before when the president seemingly on camera endorsed it.
Major, are you surprised that this bill is receiving so much support? Because it does seem that the information that congressmen and women would get. I mean, it benefits both parties. And generally, when you're in that position, you don't want to pull back the curtain any more than you need to. Are you surprised it has this much Democratic support?
No, because it does fit into a question that many Americans reasonably ask. Now, I've covered Congress for a long time, and the place in which information materially affects your equity investments is when it's instantaneous and it's about something that only the company knows. It's insider information, and you buy or sell based on this momentarily super important information. What most members of Congress learn in their legislative process does not fall into that category, okay? And the long arc of what legislation is or isn't going to do and how it affects a certain industry or a certain company often plays out in full public view, in subcommittee hearings, markups, floor consideration, and the like. Companies can see that coming, and they're aware of it, and so it doesn't have that kind of nasty profit motive that insider trading clearly does. That's why insider trading is prohibited. So this is a particular kind of information, and it really played out in COVID. And we, as a country, continue to relitigate all the things that flowed through the COVID experience. And one of them was, if you're a member of Congress, you did hear things about what was going to be shut down or what was happening on a vaccine or what was happening in the public health space that could have very rapid downstream economic impacts, and you might have traded on that information. There's a fair amount of data that suggests members of Congress did. That was a unique situation. That's not the way most bits of information relevant to equities trades flow to members of Congress. But the public wants some guardrails here. And Josh Hawley, responding to that, is an advocate. Democrats, generally speaking, think that there are more wealthy Republicans and more wealthy members of Congress who are Republicans, so it might hurt them more than members of their own party. To me, this seems like a pretty baseline way to run a railroad. I'm not saying members of Congress shouldn't have stocks. They should. That's fine. They shouldn't be prohibited from holding stocks, but there should be ways in which those stocks are handled by a manager or a trustee, and they can't call the trustee with new information and get things sold or bought on a frequent basis, because then that sort of undercuts or undermines the idea of a blind trust. I think people in public office can have all these equities, can hold them, but blindly, and have someone administer them outside of the information flow that uniquely comes to them as a public servant. I think that's a baseline thing. I think most Americans would support that. Getting that through Congress, though, has proved a little bit more difficult.
About a week ago, Speaker Mike Johnson called for an early recess, and that eliminated a vote on the Epstein files. And I know people have not really forgotten about that yet and are still interested in it. So what's been happening lately and what will happen next?
So the House is gone. The Senate's here this week. They're still working through nominations. We'll see how long they stay in town. President wants them to stay a bit longer than they would like to, but they're grinding through executive branch nominations and confirmations. So the House would be the place where this could most rapidly happen, because in the House, there's a particular procedure. It's called a discharge petition. It's privileged. If you have enough votes, you can force something to be considered on the floor. Highly unusual. Leadership always tries to tell its members, don't go for a discharge petition. Let us run the floor because we're the majority party. Everything flows through us. And if you allow a discharge petition sponsored by the minority party, then the majority party loses control. That's a bad thing. Don't do it. Well, there's some indication that there would be enough Republicans merging with enough Democrats on this question of transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein files matter to have that come to the floor against the wishes of the Republican leadership when they come back in September. September is going to be a hellacious month in D.C. Got to figure out appropriations to avoid a government shutdown. You're going to have the Epstein matter front and center. You're going to have whatever has been negotiated in terms of trade deals and tariff rates taking real effect on the U.S. economy. All of that is going to roil through the month of September. It's going to be a fractious time, even by D.C. standards, in a Trump 2.0 administration.
Major Garrett, anything you want to tell us about the takeout?
It's a great show. It's available on
well,
CBS.
we know that.
Streaming 24/7. You can get it on Paramount Plus, but it is also, and this is important, a podcast. It's a daily podcast. So on the podcast feed, if you just want to listen to the show, you can listen to it. And it is getting more and more radio pickup, just as the original Takeout did. So it's on great radio stations around the country. I believe they'll be on more as time goes on. So you can find it lots of different ways. If you want something that is relentlessly curious and steadfastly non-ideological, the Takeout is the place for you.
You're
he's the best.
Do you have that descriptor ready, or would you just think of it on the spot? Because that's
that's pretty good.
No. That was the way I described the original Takeout.
Okay.
That
All
was
right. That's good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Bob
right.
Costian.
It really was.
It's very much Bob Costian. Have fun being a buyer, Major.
Hey, look. I have been a Padre fan since 1969. These are heady and unusual days for us, okay? So we don't have world championships. We're rarely in the playoffs. We're hardly part of these conversations in the long arc of my life with the Padres. So let me enjoy it for the few years that I can.
You can have it.
Oh,
Okay.
you're always a buyer in our hearts, Major.
That's right. We'll sell to you anytime.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, with us every Thursday at 10:30. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who's likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
What's today? It's Thursday. Really? Feels like Tuesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will be thrilled to know that Chris Ranji and I will be broadcasting live from the Forest Park Visitors Center tomorrow.
Let's go.
9 a.m. to noon.
Let's
9
go.
a.m. to noon. We'll be there. You can come say hi.
And it'll be nicer than today. It's going to be like 80 degrees for the high tomorrow and sunny.
And you may be thinking to yourselves, oh, wait, tomorrow's Friday. What about Hancock and Kelly?
They'll be there too.
Dog, they're going to be there too. You don't
invited to the park.
understand. I think more people are going to be there for Hancock and Kelly.
I don't care.
For us.
As long as they see us, I don't care. I want them to be there.
Hancock and Kelly are stars.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Love
But
those
They're
two.
going to be at Forest Park. We're going to be at Forest Park. You can come say hi. We'll be at the Dennis and Judith Jones Visitor Center. And we may have water or lemonade or chili. We haven't decided.
Yeah, we'll have something for
Ronj
you.
wanted to give away chili.
Well, that's what it was 110.
Yes, that's right. But you think, okay, why are you going to be there? Because remember, Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and
Electrical.
That's right. They are partnering with KMOX with us to do 100 acts of kindness all year long. And we're going to be nice at Forest Park tomorrow.
Jeff, our HVAC guy who came in yesterday, he did a kindness for me.
So tell us about, I had never heard of this.
Well, I don't even know what a humidistat was. I moved into this new place. There's this little dial next to the thermostat.
It honestly sounds like something my grandma would take.
Yeah, it seems like some sort of drug.
Did you take your humidistat today?
Yes. And the rash went away. But it's this dial and it's got percentages on it. You could dial it to a percentage for humidity. And then there's a little a table next to it that says if it's this temperature, set it to this, like the outdoor temperature. If it's 90 degrees, set it to 20% or whatever. So that's what I've been doing. It's been nice and cool in my place, but it's been a little damp, like a little touch damp. He said, turn that bad boy off.
So wait.
And so Jeff from Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical, he took care of me. I turned it down. I turned it off. And by God, it feels great in my place now.
Jeff from Jerry
Kelly is solving problems, and they didn't even come to the house.
We have to have Jeff on again because we had people texting in with more questions for Jeff of Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical. They had more questions. We've got winter questions for Jeff. But so a humidistat, which I'd never heard of, it's technically a humidifier.
Yeah, that's
not a dehumidifier. It's a humidifier. So you were
adding humidity.
Ugh. What a horrible thing.
So I didn't know that was a problem. Anyway.
Ronj is the only guy in the past few weeks thinking, I wish my place were a little bit more humid.
No, I thought, well, okay, maybe there's something about the layout
really
of this place. Anyway, fixed it. So Jerry Kelly, they got it. They figured it out.
So, and guess what else? Jeff also fixed my problem because I was leaving my fan on for the AC. And he said, you don't want to do that. He said, if you leave your AC fan on, even if it's, set at 75 degrees, if the fan is constantly running, then the motor could overheat and something could happen. And so to the motor, so I turned the fan off yesterday. Also, we did learn that while you're gone, don't feel guilty for keeping your house at 74 or 75, because if you try to save electricity by keeping it at 78 or 79 while you're gone, it will have to work so hard at night to bring the temperature back down that it's actually harder on your AC.
So he said the only reason to do it is if you're going to be gone for an extended period, like I suppose a week or two. But if it's a daily thing, like you leave for the day, you set it at 78 because you're gone, then you come back and it's 72, you turn it down because you think you're saving money, you're not. You're putting more stress on the unit. Which is interesting because that's not the way I would have expected it.
Yeah. Really
anyway.
Interesting.
We are hoping to connect with Maria Kina. She is on a some sort of call right now or
mission
story. She's on a mission.
She's on assignment.
So we are expecting to visit with her at some point before the show is over. Maybe next, maybe not. Who knows?
Who knows?
But anyway, you've got one more hour of us. We do have Ryan Fagan joining the show at 11:30, and he's going to tell us about the trade deadline, keeping you updated on what the Cardinals might do, what's happening around baseball. Deadline is today at 5. They've already been active. What more will happen? We'll tell you that next hour on KMOX.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house? On the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
It is cloudy, 76 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is speaking out after getting a tongue lashing from President Trump.
Mr. Trump went to social media calling Senator Josh Hawley a second-tier senator. This comes after Hawley was the lone Republican voting in favor of a bill that passed in committee banning stock trading and certain investments by members of Congress, the president and vice president. However, the ban would not go into effect until those politicians win a new term in office, something President Trump cannot do because he's limited to only 2 terms by the Constitution. Hawley tells Fox News.
Well, I think that the president, a number of people who are opposed to banning stock trading had said to the president that he would be covered by the bill. He'd have to sell Mar-a-Lago and sell assets. Not the case at all. The president and the vice president, all their assets are totally exempted.
The Honest Act now heads to the full Senate. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey secured that indictment. Page is accused of using public funds to mail a politically motivated postcard urging voters to oppose Proposition B, which did fail. And it would have allowed the council to fire Page appointments. Amid a flurry of nations vowing to recognize a Palestinian state at September's UN General Assembly, the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. The other backdrop of this meeting is pictures coming out of Gaza related to what aid organizations say is the threat of mass starvation, while Israel presses its military campaign against Hamas. CBS News Middle East contributor Robert Berger has more from Jerusalem.
It's being called a tsunami of political pressure now on Israel. We have major countries in Europe, France, Britain, Canada, Portugal, a lot of countries, Australia, all coming on board now to recognize a Palestinian state.
President Trump is not. He is firmly behind Israel. With the latest on the Cardinals before the trading deadline, we get more from Tom Ackerman.
Debbie, let's recap what's happened so far today. Shane Bieber, starter for the Cleveland Guardians, traded to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then a massive deal out on the West Coast. Fans out there woke up to find Mason Miller, the outstanding closer for the A's, traded to the Padres along with starter J.P. Sears for 4 prospects, including highly rated shortstop Leo DeVries. So Mike Schilt and the Padres have the best bullpen in baseball right now, with Mason Miller joining them. The Mets are close to that. They added Ryan Helsley to their bullpen yesterday. The Cardinals closer went over for a trio of single-A prospects. The Boston Red Sox traded for Cardinals pitcher Steven Matz. The Cardinals get Blaze Jordan, the power-hitting first base prospect from AAA, in that deal. Phil Maton is expected to be dealt today. We'll see if that happens. The Cardinals do expect to get phone calls about their position players, particularly their younger left-handed bats, but nothing has come to fruition as of yet. The deadline is 5 o'clock today. Coverage all day long right here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The weather is sponsored for you by Financial and Tax Strategies.
This afternoon will be much cooler than recent days, with plenty of cloud and a stray shower. The high 78. Clearing tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, a beautiful day with sunshine and low humidity, the high 81. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got cloudy skies, 77 degrees in downtown St. Louis at 11:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, Chris and Amy visit with the KMOX newsroom.
Yeah, dude, our little, our aggressive, was it a Boston Terrier? No, what is she? She's like a Chihuahua because they're really aggressive and they'll
you
they'll
keep
get
changing the dog.
Well, she's
you
not
said
a bulldog.
And then you said a Boston Terrier, and then you said
She's cute like a Boston Terrier. She's not like a bulldog, though.
Say now it's time for. Say that.
Now it's time for
Give them hell, Maria.
Maria Kina from the KMOX newsroom is joining us. She has been all over this Ameren rate hike story. Also, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page's indictment. And man, we've got her. She's with us now. How's it going, Maria?
Good. How are you guys?
You're tenacious. That's what it is. She is tenacious.
That is a good word. Yes, tenacious.
All right. So we've been talking about this rate hike with Ameren and the fact that some people are seeing their bills go up 40%, 50%.
400%.
400%. Just some really crazy numbers here. What do we know? What's the latest? Because we talked about this yesterday and how some of the answers from Ameren that you got a few days ago, pretty unsatisfactory.
And that's correct. And I was able to talk with Senator Carla May, and she is checking into this. She had no idea. This was the first she had been hearing about it. And she's going to see exactly what's happening here. Because yesterday, I told you I talked with the Missouri Council, which is a public advocacy group for people. And I asked them what was going on. And that was a very enlightening interview. And in a lot of ways, startling, because we found out there's Senate Bill 4 that is going to take effect on August 28th, which is going to allow the utilities to increase rates again. So that will include Spire this time, as well as American Water, which is St. Louis County. That's what county people have. And there's no way to stop it. The Senate passed the bill. It was supported by the governor. And I don't know. This is going to be in addition to what people are already paying on top of it. So I don't know how people are going to deal with this, because this will increase their utility bills, according to what Ms. Paget had told me, over $1,000 a year. So this is going to be pretty significant for people. And there isn't a whole lot people can do other than try and seek assistance. Now, we should mention, Cool Down St. Louis which is an organization they've been here for many years. They're a nonprofit. So for elderly people and for disabled people who are having trouble, they need to call Cool Down St. Louis. Don't get caught up in some program with the utility where they're skimming off money off the top of it. And the people don't actually, then the organization benefits at this. Cool Down St. Louis doesn't get a penny. So it's very important that people know that.
Yeah. And Maria, too, just as a side note, with the weather cooling off today, tomorrow, after this long heat streak, just where it's so hot and humid, Dave Murray did say that next week we could be above 95 again. So like later in the week. So don't think, okay, well, I made it through. I'm not going to call them. If you have any doubt whatsoever, definitely call Cool Down St. Louis for some help.
Yeah. And one of the other things, people, they tell you to raise your thermostat. Well, if you're doing that and it's going up, you're putting it up to like 80 degrees because the lady from the advocacy group had told me she's hearing from people that they're doing that. Well, that's just that's harmful to people, and you can't do that. And it doesn't help. And didn't you guys talk with Jerry Kelly?
Yeah.
Where they said running your AC like that really isn't good for it?
Yeah.
Because then it has to work that much harder to cool off.
Oh, absolutely. They said it would increase the chances that you're going to break your machine or going to have issues down the road sooner rather than later because it's working so hard to bring it down. And Maria, I do want to, I guess, what am I implying? And what I mean by that is I've said numerous times this week, the numbers don't make sense, that this 12% rate increase is not accounting for $200, $300, $400 a higher monthly bill for customers. That Ameren said, well, it'll be $12 to $14 per month more for the average household. We've looked at usage numbers. We had someone call in, an Ameren customer call in and say, our usage was 13% down from last July, but our bill was almost double or was double. So I keep saying the numbers don't add up. The numbers don't add up. Something's not right, which I guess what I'm implying is that Ameren's doing something like just raising the prices willy-nilly. Like, what am I actually implying here when I say that the numbers aren't adding up, that they're doing something illegal?
They don't add up. And I don't know if I don't know how to explain this. Now, I did talk with the Missouri Public Service Commission that really was of no help at all. Other than to say, I said, well, what can consumers do here? And they said they do have a consumer hotline, which I'm at home and I don't have the number in front of me. It's on their website and it's at the bottom of the page. It's a 1-800 number. You can file a complaint there. At least I think if we get people starting to file complaints, and with Senator May following up on this, maybe we might be able to get somewhere with this, because I had asked, what do you do? Well, you call your lawmakers. That's how you get attention on this. Because I don't know that this is sustainable. Like you said, it's going to get hot again. We have the whole month of August to go through, and September could be pretty hot too sometimes.
Sometimes it's warm in October too.
Yes, exactly. So this could really snowball here, so to speak. No pun intended.
So are you talking about the Attorney General's consumer protection? Is that the number you're talking about?
No, this is the Missouri Public Service Commission.
Okay.
They are the organization that the utilities go before when they want to do a rate hike. Because I asked them how it was possible that this could happen. And he said, well, I can't go on anecdotal stories. And I'm like, these are legitimate stories. I've seen people's bills where this has happened, and this is not 12%. At what point does the PSC step in? I also asked that advocacy group, does the PSC ever say no to utility hikes? And she says since she has been in that position since 2022, there has not been one no.
Wow. Okay, so
she said sometimes. Go ahead.
It is psc.mo.gov is what Maria is talking about, and the number is 800-392-4211, 800-392-4211 in Missouri.
And Maria, you talked about going to the consumer board, the consumer commission, and they said, well, these are anecdotal. What would a non-anecdotal proof be?
I don't know. And I asked him that. And I said, because it was frustrating because I said, well, you're really not helping me in any way where I can help the consumer. And he said, well, I just, I don't know what you want me to say. This is what people can do. And I said, all right, well, fine. Then that's what I will have them do. I will give people that number and see if they can get any relief there. Now, if anything's going to come of that, I don't know. I don't know what the procedure is. Because when we were doing the Walgreens story, people were filing complaints with the Attorney General's office because I had called Andrew Bailey's office, spoke with their press person, and they said, this is what people need to do. We need to receive complaints in order to launch any kind of an investigation. So that's in the process, that one. We haven't heard back on that. But I think this is only going to get worse as people receive their bills.
So I'm going to throw this out there again because I mentioned the number for people in Missouri, the Missouri Public Service Commission that Maria is talking about. That is 800-392-4211. Similar number on the Illinois side that you should know about. That's the Illinois Commerce Commission. So they do the same thing, and their utility service complaints number is this. It is 800-524-0795. 800-524-0795. That's icc.illinois.gov. So just want people to have information on both sides of the river.
And good that you did that, because also with the advocacy group, I had talked with Ms. Paget, and she said, the problem, sometimes elderly people or people who don't even have a computer and don't have access to one, they can't go on there like Ameren suggests to go check your usage and go to the dashboard. And that's great to see. But if you don't have access to that, that isn't going to help you. Yeah. So it's good that people have a number that they can call to make a complaint. You can also call Ameren and make a complaint too to their customer service line.
And Maria, we had an email from someone in Edwardsville who's on a fixed income and said, I can't do this. You're on a fixed income and your electric bill doubles or triples. And like I said, I keep asking myself, well, what am I implying by saying that the numbers don't make sense? I'm implying something nefarious, I guess, right? Yes. Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's nefarious. I just don't know that if someone doesn't step in and say, wait a minute, there's a problem here, Ameren. You can't double people's bills. In some cases even make more than doubled. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. And I think then someone can maybe step in and something might change if they hear that. I mean, maybe they made a terrible mistake. Although with the number of people that I've spoken with, that was a pretty big mistake that they didn't catch, if that's the case.
Okay. Yeah, but it's not good. Well, I mean, we'll stay on top of it. I know you are going to, but there's one bottom line here, and it is, as you said, a lot of people cannot afford it. They just can't. And I know not everybody's going to see their bill go up. Some people are going to have theirs go down. There are unique circumstances, but it's sounding like many people are going to get these bills that they just simply can't pay. And it's not going to work. And so something will have to be done. Not sustainable. Can't do it this way. Maria, we appreciate you jumping on and talking with us, and appreciate your coverage of the story. And we know you'll stay on it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you both are staying on it as well, too, because that's the only way you find you get results is when it's brought to people's attention, and hopefully someone will step in here and resolve this.
Maria Keenup from the KMOX newsroom, reporter and anchor. You can hear her coverage throughout the week, and she will stay on this Ameren story for you. One more time, let me give out that information. In Missouri, for the Public Service Commission, it is 800-392-4211. Their website is psc.mo.gov. In Illinois, the utility service number, if you have a complaint, 800-524-0795, 524-0795. That is 524-0795, icc.illinois.gov. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of Zero Res's commitment to the DGS, you're going to get 3 rooms of carpeting clean plus 1 free plus $50 off your air duct services. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX, sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM KMOX. We've got Ryan Fagan, who is going to join the show. He covers sports, covering baseball, contributes to STL Sports Central, and we're going to talk about the trade deadline, which is happening today. The deadline is happening at 5 o'clock Central. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. Cardinals have already been active. Mm-hmm. They have traded Ryan Helsley. They have traded Steven Matz a few days ago. They traded Eric Fedde. So pitching has been on the move. Will position players be on the move? There has been interest in guys like Alec Burleson and Lars Nootbaar and Brendan Donovan. Phil Maton, the pitcher, he may be on the move as well. Seems to be likely to go. So, and there's the Nolan Arenado question, which I think is unlikely to happen. I think he'll stay in the Cardinals uniform. That's my guess, but I could be wrong. But we'll keep you updated here on KMOX.
So, Ron, a pretty tragic story earlier this month. A 29-year-old Google engineer in a freak accident. So she was killed by a tree branch that fell randomly while a group of them were hiking in Yosemite. So Angela Lin, 29 years old, a software engineer at Google, was killed by a falling tree branch while she was hiking with her boyfriend and 2 friends. They said the group heard a large crack from a tree. A bunch of small branches fell to the ground. And you know how you flinch when things start falling?
Yeah.
The boyfriend said he flinched and then he opened his eyes and his girlfriend was on the ground and she had blood pooling by her head and she died. I mean, just a horrific, tragic accident. But Google, this is according to Fortune magazine, and then Yahoo picked it up as well, that they have very generous policies when it comes to death of an employee. And it was kind of interesting because I hadn't heard of a policy like this. Now, granted, the last time that Forbes magazine was able to confirm this policy, again, the story came out because of this woman's death not quite a couple of weeks ago, but it was 2012 when Forbes talked about the death policy at Google. So when an employee dies, this is how at least it was about a decade ago. In the event of an employee's death, Google will pay half of an employee's salary to their spouse for 10 years.
Hey.
A benefit that has no tenure requirement. So regardless of how long the employee has worked at Google, Google will pay half of that salary to the spouse for 10 years. Google also will then provide stock benefits to the spouse of the deceased employee, and then will provide $1,000 per month for any of their children until the child turns 19 years old.
It's great. It's great that they can offer that.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess I had always thought in terms of life insurance policies as separate from the employer, right? That it's going, and I know the way it works is Google, I'm sure, is working through, another party to do this.
Well,
but
we have them on ours in our benefits with the company. We've got there's the standard one that you don't have to put any extra money in, and it's not. I don't think it's a ton, but it's a little something.
But what's interesting is that the way that Forbes reported on the story was not as if it was an option that you buy into, but that this is what Google
just
does.
what they do. It's standard.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Well, if you're a company like that, maybe you should take care of your people.
I think if you are a big enough company that you can do that. Obviously, a small business could not do this, right? That would put someone out of business. But if you are a giant company, I think actually speaking of giant companies, Microsoft became the world's second $4 trillion company.
What was the first?
Let me find that. This one now I came off the top of my head.
4 trillion, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So
NVIDIA, obviously.
Oh, well, yeah, because NVIDIA shot past everybody.
Yes.
Nobody knew what NVIDIA was like 9 months ago. Now they're
so
everywhere.
Microsoft, because I had that pop up on my phone, that Microsoft became the second company to reach a $4 trillion market valuation today after a blockbuster earnings report on last night on the tech giant's shares.
Wow.
So yes, Microsoft, which is funny because I don't know why I would picture Google or Meta being ahead of Microsoft. Would you have picked Microsoft as the number 2 company after NVIDIA to reach $4 trillion?
Maybe. I mean, Microsoft is still very big. Right. Obviously they are.
Yeah. I think that Bill Gates dancing video is what made everybody think that they're not that cool.
It's not not everybody has an Apple. Like PCs are everywhere.
Oh, I forgot.
PCs are everywhere, and that's still Microsoft, and Xbox is Microsoft.
You're an anti-Apple guy, but you have a laptop with an Apple on it.
I love the MacBook. I just hate the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's not, it doesn't seem intuitive. I get it. Are you on Nextdoor? The Nextdoor app?
No.
So Nextdoor is a website / app that people have, and it's for complaints in your neighborhood.
Okay.
I have told before about my friend who lived in California and was fairly close to Fred Durst, who is the lead singer of Limp Bizkit. And Fred Durst used to just make random neighborhood complaints about the kind of stuff that people would complain about. Like the nosy neighbor would complain about on Nextdoor, and Fred Durst used to make posts. No, true story. So that's the first time I had really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
I'm not on it, but I come into work today, and our security person out front, Tammy, says, "Hey, there was a Nextdoor complaint about you. I saw." I go, "What?" Like, what am I doing?
In your new place?
Yeah, I'm not out I'm not like doing weird stuff out in the yard.
Matt.
So you don't know. But no, I'm a good neighbor, like State Farm, until they don't cover your hail damage.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't do anything wrong. And I said, "What would it say?" And it said, well, the person was complaining that Charlie Brennan isn't on anymore. And they got a sports guy on.
And I said,
and I go, on Nextdoor, isn't that for like, hey, your mailbox looks weird. I don't like it. Why am I getting Nextdoor complaints? I'm a great neighbor.
I'm
a great neighbor because I don't make noise. I don't make smells. I don't make messes.
Did that complaint come in after you moved?
I don't know. I just heard about it this morning.
I love that I hope there's a whole thread.
So Matt Pajeski is on it, and he says that Nextdoor has turned into just a regular message board.
It's just regular social media now. I moved into Clayton about a month ago, and I've never used Nextdoor, but I wanted to get on it because my street had problems flooding with the storm drain being clogged. I wanted to see if anybody else had complained about it or if this was a normal thing. And very quickly, I learned that people just wanted to talk politics and not even talk about the neighborhood. And then I was getting pushed like posts from other neighborhoods in cities not exactly near me, like University City or Richmond Heights, which is close, I guess, but like not pertinent to my neighborhood. So I could just see how it was becoming like every other social media. It was trying to loop me into
keep you there.
Just keep me there. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I deactivated probably within a week of downloading it. Yeah.
All right. Well, because my feeling on Nextdoor was that it was for people to complain about the guy down the street who doesn't cut his grass.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Or loud cars or your boat's parked in your driveway and you're not supposed to have a boat parked in the driveway.
Where am I supposed to put the boat then?
I like to think of
Let's ask Steve where he puts his boats.
Where do you keep your boats? I like to think that Matt responds to all of the political Nextdoor threads with like, what about the drain?
This is great, but have you noticed the drain is clogged?
Have you noticed your car the undercarriage is submerged?
So speaking of boring, I'll tell you a genre of YouTube video I love watching, and it is people who take it upon themselves to unclog street drains.
Ugh.
Not only like getting down in there, but they'll be covered with leaves and mud and dirt, and it's just pooled with water and covering the street. And these good Samaritans will just show up and rake it out, and they'll clean out the drain, and then you watch all the water go down the drain. It's really satisfying.
Oh my gosh.
Try it. Find the drain uncloggers. They're going to be some really good stuff there.
Somebody
for you.
Find a friend for this man.
Nobody wants to hang out with me.
Oh, come watch this clogged drain video.
Latest on the Cardinals at the trade deadline, which is 5:00 today. They've already been busy. How much busier will they be before 5? Ryan Fagan, he writes sports. He covers and contributes for STL Sports Central and Opta. He's an Opta analyst. He's next on KMOX.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
Currently, it is 76 degrees, real feel temperature 83. Cloudy with a shower in some places today, a high of 78. Yep. Tonight, a low of 62. Lovely.
Brought to you by Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that they were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-Day Bath and Kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all of the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time. 3 days or less at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Uh-oh. Are you okay? No. Oh, there we go. Everything's better. Everything's back. Here we go. We're good. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji. The Gas House Gang is at 12 o'clock. Bernie Miklasz and me. We will talk about the deadline, which is at 5 o'clock today. Cardinals have done things already, and there could be more to come. To discuss that with us is Ryan Fagan, who is a sports writer and contributor to STL Sports Central and Opta analyst. And Ryan joins us on KMOX. How's it going, Ryan?
It is going well. I'm sitting here refreshing Twitter every couple minutes to see what else has happened. It's already been a pretty big morning in the baseball world and the trade world so far.
It's been very busy today around baseball. And you're right, Twitter, this is one of the days Twitter is actually great, is just to follow writers and continually refresh and see what's happening, because that's where the news really breaks first. So let's talk about all the activity and primarily what the Cardinals have done, trading their closer Ryan Helsley last night. They trade Steven Matz as well. Phil Maton could be on the move. So far, let's just focus on the deals the Cardinals have made. What do you think of those and what they got in return?
Well, I think when the Mets made the trade for one of the Rogers twins to solidify their bullpen, that kind of, I think in baseball, a lot of people looked at that return and said, whoa, the Giants did really good in getting that many prospects. And so that kind of raised the bar, I think, a little bit. And then when you looked at what the Cardinals got for Ryan Helsley, and quite honestly, I was a little surprised the Mets did that too. They traded for a second, pretty much lockdown bullpen piece to go in front of Edwin Diaz out there. It was impressive. I think the Baez, the lead guy that they got, Jesus Baez, the lead guy they got in that package. I think if you look at the Cardinals organization, you say, okay, well, they have infielders, right? But this is a guy I think has a chance to be special. He's still pretty young in A-ball, double A ball. So he may not be there for a couple of years, but I mean, it's the kind of guy you hope is a piece of what you can build. And then the other two pitchers they got, I mean, you can never have too many pitchers, right? You know, I mean, I think everybody likes to look at it and say, okay, well, this guy, where does he fit in the top 30? Is he a top 100 prospect? You know, when guys are in low A and high A, sometimes they may not have reached that potential yet. So just because they don't profile as a closer or a number 2 starter, that doesn't mean they can't be, you know, key pieces of bullpens going forward. And I think the Cardinals are hopeful that both of those other guys in the package kind of meet that level.
All right, so we have heard that Phil Maton has been drawing interest. It's possible he ends up somewhere else. The Blue Jays like him. We have also heard that teams, and this is according to Bob Nightingale, have interest in Alec Burleson or Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar. We've heard all of these names. What do you think happens next, if anything, there? And also, there's the Nolan Arenado. I think it's a long shot that something happens there, but it's not completely off the table. What do you think?
Right. I think we've seen a couple of third basemen go already, with Eugenio Suarez going to Seattle and the Astros trading for Ramon Urias. And, you know, the Astros are a team that has been talked about often when it comes to Nolan Arenado, and the fact that they made a move for a different third baseman maybe lowers the chances of him moving even more. You know, it doesn't help that Arenado's on-base percentage this year has dipped under 300. That's not exactly what you're looking for. But I think when you're talking about what's going to happen for the Cardinals over the next couple hours, I think, you know, Maton, you know, you brought him up. It seems very likely that he's going to be moved. I think because we've seen the price for some of these relievers be so high, maybe John Mozeliak is thinking, I can get a little bit more. I mean, it would make sense to me, maybe even trying to package Maton with Jojo Reyes and kind of see what type of, Jojo Romero, and see what type of better prospect package they could get back. Teams would love to add a righty-lefty combo to the bullpen. That may be a little much, but I think those, especially Maton, I would be surprised if he's still here because they traded healthy. And because Steven Matz has already moved, it would be surprising if Phil Maton is still a Cardinal at 5:01 p.m. today.
Yeah, I think that's it. It seems to be the most likely. If anything else does happen, if there's only one move, I would think now at this point it's going to be that. So just your general thoughts about what's happened around baseball, and you know, maybe there are some implications for the Cardinals down the road. I'm not really sure that we can know that now, but there's just been a lot of activity today. I know the Cubs acquired Andrew Kittredge, who Cardinals fans are familiar with. So there has been a lot going on around baseball, not just here.
Yeah, the one that surprised me this morning was the Padres trading for Mason Miller from the A's. I mean, you've watched Mason Miller. I mean, this is a guy throwing 102, 103, 104 on a regular basis. And I mean, he's dynamic, but he's got a lot of years of club control left. And the A's were not going to trade him unless they got, I mean, you know, I mentioned the top 100 prospects in baseball is this magical thing. The A's weren't trading him unless they got like a top 20 guy, right? And that's what they got out of the Padres and Leo DeVries, who's a slick fielder, who's got a back that just really, you know, scouts kind of drool over. And when you're seeing guys like DeVries get traded for a player like Mason Miller. You know, Mason Miller has a couple of years of club control left. I mean, I think that shows you how much teams are going for it. And I think, you know, part of the reason that the prices are high is because so many teams are involved. You know, I looked this morning at the MLB standings. I believe it was 9 teams that had in the range of 60 to 64 wins, right? Nobody had more than 64. But a lot of teams had 60. So you have a lot of teams thinking, not only can we get into the postseason, but when we get there, if we're healthy and we make these additions, we have a chance to do something. I mean, because the Dodgers have struggled so much, you know, as the perceived overwhelming favorite, and they've had injuries, and you know, I mean, it doesn't look like that's clearing up anytime soon. There's an opportunity, and I think a lot of teams are seeing that and kind of going for it. That's why I feel like the Mets, you know, has traded for not one not two, but including Gregory Soto a couple days ago, they traded for 3 dynamic type arms in their bullpen. I think that's what you're seeing so far the last couple of days.
Ryan Fagan, sports writer, joins us on KMOX, and this deadline day for Cardinals fans is, there's a lot of action, so it's exciting if you like baseball and you like to see what teams are doing, but also it's a reminder that with the way the Cardinals have been busy trading away from the roster, it's a reminder of where they are, that they're not competitive this year. They were for a while, but they've fallen off. They're not going to be a playoff team, most likely. I guess anything could happen, but here they are. They're not what they were 10 years ago. So the direction of the team moving forward, how quickly do you think they can become a contender again?
I think the pieces are there if they add in the right elements in the offseason and they develop the right players. But I mean, look, if they're going to be a contender quickly, they need Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman and Thomas JC to be the prospects, the potential players that they see that they could be, right? Because those guys have struggled. So JC hasn't had as much of an opportunity in the big leagues. But, it's been a scuffle at times, and sometimes extended scuffles for guys like Walker and Gorman. And I think when you look at J.J. Weatherholt and the potential that he brings and what he's doing at AAA, he looks like a guy you build around, right? And so if he comes up and they add these other things and then maybe go out and add a few arms in the off season, then you can see a scenario where at the trade deadline 2026, the Cardinals are a team that are going out there and adding. You can also see a scenario where that does not happen, and we're not talking about a contending Cardinals team until 2027 or after. And it all comes back to the whole thing with John Mozeliak being in charge this year, waiting for Chaim Bloom to take over after basically the trade deadline and going into it's a weird situation, right? It's an odd situation, and it felt odd when they announced it. It feels more odd now that decisions are being made by somebody who, even though I don't think anyone doubts that Mozeliak has the best interests of the franchise at heart, it's still weird that he's making decisions for the team going forward when he's not going to be in position to add to what they've brought in now and what they've done over the last year. So it's a strange situation. If you want to put on rose cardinal colored glasses, you can, like I said, you can see a scenario where this is a team that is a factor next year and legit contender in the next couple of years. But a lot of things have to happen for them to get there.
Ryan, speaking of Chaim Bloom and being part of that decision-making process, when the Cardinals dealt Steven Matz to the Red Sox, they picked up 6 foot, 220-pound power hitter Blaze Jordan, but Blaze Jordan was originally drafted by Chaim Bloom in 2020 when Bloom was with the Red Sox. Do we read anything into that?
Oh yeah, I think so. That's one of the things I always kind of love when you see front office types moving from franchise to franchise, and then they kind of do what they can to like, hey, I like this guy at the last place I was. Let's bring him in. I think it certainly bodes well because he thought enough of him to bring him along to get to this new organization. And Blaze Jordan, he's an interesting story. I mean, he kind of, when he was in high school, he went viral because he was this kid just hitting massive home runs, and he had all this hair, and he was somebody, and his first name was Blaze, and he had Michael Jordan's last name too. So everybody kind of was like, look at this kid, and he's struggled at times. He's been open with kind of talking about some of the issues that he's been dealing with in his career with those expectations to try and build up to them. But I mean, this year really seemed to be kind of the year that he's like, okay, I'm focusing on these things. I'm going to be a better ball player. I'm going to be a better hitter. And his numbers this year have been good. And it's not just these pops and home runs and hitting 300, but I think when you look at things like his strikeout to walk ratio, and they're pretty similar. He walks almost as much as he strikes out. You don't see that a lot. So if you've got that plate discipline to add to the power, and obviously Bloom believes in him to want to bring him here because that's part of the conversation, even if he's not making the official trade. Yeah, I think absolutely that's something that if you're a Cardinal fan, you want to be like, hey, this is something I could possibly get excited about. It wouldn't be crazy to do that.
Ryan Fagan covers baseball, covers sports for STL Sports Central, contributed there also at Opta Analyst. We appreciate your time today. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the trade deadline.
I always enjoy it. Exciting to see what's going to happen the rest of the day.
That is Ryan Fagan with us, and we are 5 hours and 14 minutes, 13 minutes from getting to the trade deadline. Then it's Redbird Rush Hour at 5, and you've got Matt Pauley there.
As Ryan Fagan pointed out about Blaze Jordan being an internet sensation when he was a kid. So when he was 11, he hit a 395-foot home run at the Texas Rangers ballpark. And when he was 13, he hit 2 home runs that were 500 feet. Now, he caught flack because he's a kid using a metal bat. So it was a metal bat. But a lot of people pointed out, even with a metal bat, most 13-year-olds aren't hitting 500-foot homers.
You know, I think I went to high school with a guy named Blaze Major. I'm not kidding.
That
name sounds very familiar. I'm pretty
Blaze
sure.
Major?
Yeah.
314-436-7900.
If you're Blaze Major.
What did he end up doing?
I don't know.
That's an intense name.
I loved it. It's a good name.
It should be Major Blaze.
Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on that. That's me. I'm Chris. We've got, let's see, Jesse Rogers, who is expected to join us. We're going to be covering the trade deadline. It's going to be awesome. You're going to want to listen. And then Tom Ackerman will continue. I think he's got one more report for us. If something does happen, somebody will come in here and tell us about it. Matt Pauley. Any trade deadline stuff, stay right here. We'll keep you posted on what the Cardinals do before the end of the day on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. Heads to Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or a picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Wright. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Chris Ranji for Siteman Cancer Center, and you have to know that you are somebody's favorite person, and your health matters not just to you, but it matters to people who care about you. Getting screened early for any cancer, whether it's colon or breast cancer, prostate cancer, or lung cancer, it is important to do that. Siteman has set up a website called GetScreenedNow.com. And when you go to it, it's going to help you find a location nearer you. If you live a little farther out from St. Louis and don't want to make the trip into the city, you can get screened closer to home. GetScreenedNow.com, because for me, I'm over 45. It's time for that colonoscopy. Third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in both men and women. And GetScreenedNow.com will help you find a location that is good for you. Doing it early, really, really important. GetScreenedNow.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus, offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's live in St. Louis, September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Well, somebody found that next door thread. The one that's complaining about me.
Yeah, because you're a terrible neighbor and you don't bring in your trash cans.
No, it's not about that at all.
You've got loud noise and music.
It's not that at all.
Is it all the ladies going in and out?
And the smells you make?
In the what?
The smells you make?
Yeah, I don't make any smells or any sounds or any messes.
I've never heard anyone use the phrase, I don't make any smells.
Well, you know how some people cook things and it permeates the whole hallway?
Broccoli. Ugh.
Broccoli. Somebody
garlic.
Garlic, which can smell really good if you do it right. So somebody screenshotted the next door thread and sent it to us.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, Dave. It's Dave. He's not happy. And he starts off the thread with, I'm looking for an interesting talk radio channel since KMOX went out of business.
What?
What? I think Dave might be a little dim. And then he says, I don't care if it's AM or FM. He doesn't want to hear nonstop sports talk. Which is not what we're doing here.
But I will say this to Dave's credit. I appreciate him being open to both AM and FM.
Yeah, but FM sounds way better. We have an AM, we have 1120. We have a channel 1120.
I mean,
so it's there.
I hope we didn't go out of business because why are we here?
Why are we here? What do you mean?
If we went out of business, if KMOX went out of business, we're not going to get paid.
Maybe we're like Milton and it's going to work itself out naturally.
Who's Milton?
You've never seen Office Space?
No.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
the red stapler?
No, keep going.
Yeah, so he's upset that there's sports on the station, even though people in St. Louis love sports. We don't do that much. We do an hour in the middle of the day. If it's a big day like this, we cover the trade deadline because people love the Cardinals. It's the Cardinals,
fair,
dude.
I think Dave should probably know. The Cardinals are always number one. I remember there was some story, and I don't know what it was. It was a big story, like, let's say there's a new president. It wasn't that, but it was like Channel 4, today's news, like there's the United States of America has a new president. But first, Adam Wainwright was busy today.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are always number one.
It's a big deal here. So Dave says they are no longer interesting to listen to. The last straw was to put a sports nut on in the morning show.
That's you.
I think he's talking about Tom. And then a guy who thinks he's funny hold on. He says, and then a guy who thinks he's funny in the afternoon. So I guess that Dave Glover?
I think you're the sports nut.
Oh, maybe I am.
Because it's the morning.
At any rate. So Dave, listen, if you decide that you're no longer a dimwit and you would like to come back to the station, you're welcome to. But we are definitely not out of business.
Well, here's what I want to tell Dave.
We are also the home of the Cardinals for the next several years. You should know that too.
So we're very much not out of business. But here's the great thing, because Dave is open to AM and FM, and we are on both AM and FM.
Yeah. Right in your face.
1120 AM, 1041 FM. It's awesome.
Right in your ears.
You know what? Maybe people need to vent.
They should.
Yeah.
This texter says, I went to college with a guy named Blaze, but I think he got that nickname because he was a huge stoner.
Yeah.
That wasn't the guy I went to high school with.
No. Blaze Major?
I swear.
Man, you went to high school with some and went to school in general.
I went to high school with a Misty spray.
No, you did
Yes, I
not.
did. I will find it.
Misty spray?
Yes, I will find it. I'm going to find it. I hope she's doing well.
I went to school with a drippy faucet. That's what you just said.
All right.
That's awesome. Misty spray.
Forest
Love
Park
that.
tomorrow.
We're
Oh
at
my
Forest
gosh,
Park.
Forest Park. 9 to noon. Hancock and Kelly will be there. So it's Chris, Amy, Hancock, Kelly, Forest Park Visitor Center, 9 a.m. to noon.
Come see us, baby. Thanks for listening. Everything you missed on the Odyssey app, podcasts are there, or wherever you get your podcasts. It's the Chris and Amy Show. But next, trade deadline. We'll keep you updated. The Gas House Gang, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, next on KMOX.
No thanks. I'm a big dumb idiot who likes to pay full price.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan along with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audi